Sadly, the United States President Donald Trump has decided to place a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods sold to the United States, with the exception of energy products, which will be tariffed at 10%. These tariffs are unjustified and a clear breach of the North American Free Trade Agreement, or CUSMA, that was signed by President Trump during his first term. This economic attack on our country, combined with Mr. Trump's continued talk of using economic force to facilitate the annexation of our country, has broken trust between our two nations in a profound way. It is a betrayal of a deep and abiding friendship. Thousands of Albertans have lost their lives fighting alongside our fellow Canadians to secure and protect our freedoms and our country. And we will not cast those freedoms and loyalties aside in response to the threat of economic pressure from a foreign government, even an historically friendly one. Albertans will decide our own destiny, free of coercion from any government. So today I'm announcing the following measures in response to the actions of the U.S. President. First, I've directed my cabinet to alter our procurement practices to ensure the government of Alberta, along with our agencies, school boards, crown corporations, and all Alberta municipalities, purchase all needed goods and services from Alberta companies, from Canadian companies, and from countries with which Canada has a free trade agreement that is being honoured. Second, no further purchases of U.S. alcohol or new VLTs will be permitted through the AGLC until further notice. We'll just have to drink a bit more BC wine and Alberta craft beer and spirits, and that's just fine with us. Third, I'm directing my government to assist our grocers and other retailers with labeling all Canadian products in our stores and ask them to voluntarily purchase their stock from vendors in Alberta, Canada, or countries that we share free trade agreements with that are being honoured. My government will enter into free trade and labour mobility agreements with every province that is willing to do so. The goal is to have no exceptions, just free trade and free movement of Canadian workers right across our province. The other issues that are coming up in the context of trade irritants that will be needed to be discussed in the context of a renegotiated Canada-US free trade agreement. Sometimes when he speaks, he intermingles those two, but there's very clearly a long list of grievances that the US president has. I would put it to you that I think Alberta has done its part in matching the effort that the Americans want to see. And I was just in Coots, and I can tell you, I can affirm what Mike is saying. The issue that we're facing in Alberta at our border appears to be drugs coming up from Canada, or from the U.S. into Canada, whether it's cocaine or crystal meth. The issue of migrants seems to be exclusively people coming across from the United States into Canada. A woman in the room said that 2 or 3 times a year she sees families with suitcases. And I asked the room full of about 200 people how many people experience the same, and almost everyone lifted their hand. So there are hundreds of people potentially who are coming across from the United States into Canada, and we are not seeing the same in reverse. So what we are asking for is some recognition that with the additional enforcements we put at the border, our interdiction teams, the sniffer dogs, the vehicle inspection, the drones, and the Black Hawk helicopters, that's a demonstration that we're doing our part. We're wanting the U.S. to match our efforts as well. And let's stamp out the scourge of fentanyl. We all want to eliminate it. But it's going to take a joint effort working collaboratively, and I think some recognition that it is a two-way street.